Femi Olajiga, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I want to ask you about SEO agency teams today. As somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience in SEO, it confuses me. So can you, and I know it's important, so can you tell me what do we need to know about SEO agency teams and why is it important?
An SEO agency is an extension of your in-house SEO team. It's literally part of your marketing team. So it's important to understand the structure of an SEO team to be able to understand their strength and their weakness. If you look into the structure of an SEO agency, you can see if they're tilted a lot to a technical SEO agency or a content SEO agency or a link building SEO agency. What you're really looking for, depending on the capabilities you have internally, the structure of your agency needs to match the structure of your in-house team. And if you don't have an in-house SEO team, then you need a full structured SEO agency that has all the important skills and capability within their team.
So what does a typical SEO agency team structure look like?
That's a good question. It varies depending on the size of the agencies and if it's like a full service agency. So basically what I'm trying to say is that some agencies that are just primarily SEO agencies alone, and then there are agencies that are a combination of SEO and PPC agency, and some agencies that are full service agency. So the structure would differ in all this type of agencies. A full service agency would normally just have a few people doing SEO for them. In some instances, those agencies might outsource or subcontract to other SEO consultants. And then when you have an agency that deals with search, the structure will be different. But to answer your question, for an agency that is purely SEO focused, you always have the founder or the owner, the CEO of the agency, that in most cases will have an SEO background, but they've been in SEO for 15 to 20 years. So they established that agency. And then underneath them, you can have like a partner, business development, sales director. These individuals are not always subject matter experts. And then you then have like strategic lead, business development directors. That's where you need to kind of understand the people that actually will kind of increase the cost of the SEO you're getting, because all these individuals are mentioning are overheads. And then underneath those people, then you then have the SEO, the head of SEO. And in some instances, they're called the director of SEO. And below that, you have senior SEO manager, senior SEO account manager. And then below that, you have senior SEO executive, SEO executive, and that's how the layer comes in. So in some agencies you have like 4 layers, and 2 layers in some instances would not be subject matter expert. So the people actually doing the work will be like the lower level staff. So what you want to understand with your SEO agency is who is actually doing the work for you. Is this task that you're giving to them being executed by junior people without the relevant experience that you need to get the best quality? So that's why it's important to pay attention to the structure of your agency SEO team structure.
So what are some of the pros and cons of an agency SEO team structure for people hiring them?
Yeah, I'll start with the pros and I'll mix it up with the cons back and forth. The number one thing is you have subject matter experts when you're hiring an agency. They do this day in, day out. They're experts, and they're very close to the developments in the SEO community, what Google is doing. So you really get those first-hand expertise from them. However, you also have instances where you have to pay for the overheads, as I mentioned earlier on, because agencies would need to hire people to do sales, rent an office and do all those things. Those add to the cost. So I'll say one of the cons is agencies are expensive, and so that's why you have to look at the option of in-housing your SEO team or hiring an agency So those are the pros and cons that I see. Another pro is that some agency will help you develop your in-house SEO capability. So agencies that offer SEO training and guidance, they can come into your organization. Even if they don't work with you as an agency, they can upskill your in-house SEO team. So that's a very good positive on that side. And if you cannot afford an agency, you also have the option of hiring a consultant that is a one-man band that has experience in SEO and will offer you, because they don't have overheads, they'll be a little bit cheaper than agencies, but they offer similar or even better quality of SEO services. So those are the pros and cons that you need to consider when hiring an agency.
So, last question today. What would you recommend to people looking to hire out or outsource their SEO to an agency?
What I would recommend when you're outsourcing your SEO to an agency is to just do your due diligence. Get someone that is a subject matter expert to help you with your agency selection. So in some instances, some agencies will be very, very good with presentation, and when they actually get into do the actual work, it might not be what they kind of offered at the beginning. So hire someone like a consultant or SEO consultant or digital marketing consultant to sit within your agency selection process to kind of help you research and really identify the good agencies from the not too good agencies. So that is what I would recommend. And if possible, you can consider insourcing or building your SEO team. So you can also create an in-house agency of excellence within your company without hiring an agency. You just need to find people with agency background and bring them in-house, and then you can build your own internal agency within your organization. And if you're a startup and you cannot afford an agency, you always have the option of hiring an SEO consultant or marketing consultant like myself. So if you're in need of those services, feel free to reach out. And thank you very much for your time.
Femi Olajiga, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.